My body was blazing with an appalling fever. The migraine from behind my now scarlet eyes was significantly getting detrimental, and my body ached from head to toe. But the guilt that was piercing from inside my veins was what hurt the most. The self-degrading thoughts that filled my cloudy head and the cathartic cry I let out completely disregarded my illness. All because I was not where I was supposed to be, sat at my desk to study for SPM. Good morning to the honorable judges, lovely teachers, and fellow acquaintances. I am a perfectionist. I'm sure many of us present have heard this coined term an innumerable amount of times. But what does it really imply? For many years, the term perfectionism has been thrown around in conversations by teenagers to be quirky and fun. People think they are perfectionists if they place their pens in a straight row and ensure their lockers are tidy. But it is so much heavier than that. Perfectionism is the need to be flawless and appear ideal in every action and situation. And if you don't appear so, you push yourself and criticize every movement you've made. So as you can see, perfectionism is not a black card to go around boasting about. I tend to ask myself, when I look in the mirror, what made me like this? It's quite simple, actually. I did. Based on research done by PsychCentral.com, the root of perfectionism is believing your self-worth is based on your accomplishments. And that is mostly due to extremely unrealistic expectations you put on yourself. To illustrate, I am immensely money-driven. Hence, whenever I feel tired or burned out, the same question repeats in my head. Are you willing to live your life badly off with no accomplishment whatsoever? And almost immediately, I'm back to studying. The interesting thing about a perfectionist is we tend to not comprehend the word relaxation. It just seems alien to us. We find it morally wrong to sit and unwind because what if those precious minutes wasted is what determines our future self-worth? This perpetual nervousness and tension tends to interfere with a lot of our daily activities, such as having a coffee date with your friends or even spending time with your family. For many cases around the world, these even led some to form general anxiety disorder, which then as a result germs the need for psychotherapy. This reminds me of a scenario 2 years ago, in a world where masks were not as prominent. It was the day my PT3 results came out. I barely slept the week before from the perturbation of obtaining what I want. I arrived school on that memorable day feeling queasy and sick in my stomach. My ears were ringing and body was shaking as my teacher handed me my slip. I glanced at the golden slip to find all A's plastered on it. I looked around the hectic hall to find everyone so content and jolly, yet the only thought in my head was, will I be able to score higher for SPM? More than pleasure and satisfaction, severe anxiety suffused my already weak body. Even at a moment of absolute euphoria, I was not happy with what I had achieved. I wanted more and more. These episodes in the life of a perfectionist are so mentally consuming. And rest assured, we are fully aware of it. Most of the time, we feel dejected with the life we live in, but we continue pushing through without a single word of complaint. The distressing loop of self-criticism is the main fuel to start our engine. For some self-critical perfectionists, they believe the only way to start off their day right is by reciting their goals over and over again. As New York's best-selling author Melissa Dahl once said, perfectionism is a reflection of an inner self, mired in anxiety. Personally, the icing for this perplexing cake is the constant overthinking you delve in. I probably could not go one day without thinking, what did this person think about my statement just now? Did I look foolish for being unable to answer that mathematical equation? Do my friends hate me for being so assertive? I start off and end my day with these queries haunting me. There's no doubt, it is human nature to constantly evaluate a situation you've been put in, but it becomes overthinking when you just can't get it out of your head. For me, this has become a daily routine of mine that I don't even seem to acknowledge it at this point. I could go on for the remaining amount of time talking about my struggles and why perfectionism is the genesis for all my distress. But I perceived something when I was writing my speech up to this point. How did I manage to write this speech? How am I able to speak in front of this audience today? The only answer is perfectionism. It took me 17 years to comprehend that the only reason I've come this far in my life is because of my perfectionism. I get straight A's, I'm well-mannered, and I have a flair for athletics, all because I push myself to do it. In other words, my greatest strength comes from my biggest weakness. In outline, it is crystal clear how mentally consuming perfectionism has been for me, but it also made me the person I am today. But that is the road of life, isn't it? The thousands of hurdles you have to jump over is what makes the journey so enticing. I do hope one day I can maneuver how perfectionism affects me in a more positive manner because the results are already phenomenal. That is also a vital part of life. The only way to decipher a complication is through acceptance. This epiphany even provided me with an absolute title for this speech, which is A Perfect Weakness. And with that, I thank you.